So if you have a facelifted W220 S-Class and you want to update your radio to an Android type radio like this Seicane, this is the video for you. I'm going to walk you through how to remove the radio, how to connect it, especially since the connector that comes with the radio isn't the correct one, and how to get it up and running. So to remove the radio, you have to remove the top piece of trim, and then there's 2 screws here, and when you also have to remove the ashtray, 2 screws there, which will allow you to remove the HVAC controls, which allows you to access 2 more screws here. So those screws are all T20s, and to remove the trim, you just need a trim tool like this, and carefully get it here, pop that out, put that aside. So these 2 are T20s. To remove the ashtray, you're going to want to unscrew the screws first. And then to actually remove it, you have to take the car out of park, and it will slide out. So you can collapse it again. And there is a plug on the back, which is a standard connector. Let's remove the plug right here. Put that aside. And for the HVAC, you can reach in underneath, push it forward. It snaps into the radio here and here, so just give it a little pull. And this is a cam lock type, so you just push here, pull that, and this will pull it out. And you can put this aside too. Then you have your T20s here, here, and then 2 on the bottom. Don't drop your screws inside the car, but otherwise you can get it back out with a magnet on a stick. Once that's unscrewed, you can just reach in and pull it out. And then you can push the screws out. You can reach underneath, and you have access to all your wiring. So to access the CAN distribution block, you have to remove this panel down here. So the distribution block is mounted behind this panel, and to remove this panel you have a pin here, or a clip that will come out of here, and so while you're removing you have to be careful, otherwise the actual pin will break off, but thankfully it's not too loose, and next time I get in there I'll fix that. So you have 1 screw here, and then there are 1, 2, 3 places where it clips in. Now to make it easier, you can unscrew, there's 4 screws here that will allow you to move the panel a little better. You can actually remove this whole piece, which also connects to where the block is. So if you can do that, it might be easier, but I was able to access it by only removing this part. So if you can push it back and pop it out, it will drop down. If you only remove part of it, you may be able to reach in and pull the block out. So whatever is easiest for you. So once you remove the kick panel, you can access your CAN bus distribution block, which mounts under this panel right here from the top. So it slides. If you push it backwards, it will come out. So what you've got on here is both the CAN low and CAN high signals. So the CAN bus high is the brown and red wire. CAN bus low is just brown. And you can connect into it, since there are 2 ports, at least 2 extra ports on the distribution block. You can connect to it with connectors like these. So you can put these on the pins. You just have to make sure you match up the high to high and low to low. So these connectors are jumper wires I had from electronics projects. I'll be putting a link in the descriptions where you can get them. I used the female side and then used the butt connector to extend the wire to go back to the radio. And so to reattach them, you just put one in at a time. Make sure you line it up on the pin. I have mine as red to high and brown to low. And it's secure. And then you can attach and run 1 wire for high and 1 wire for low up to the radio. So when you first pull your radio out, you're going to have a connector that looks like this. And what you get with your harness is probably going to look like this, which does not plug in anywhere on the W220, specifically facelifted cars. So you're going to want to remove, this is a holder for both the fiber optic and the main radio connector. So to remove that, you can pull the wiring out of the side. You pull this little tab here, and you can slide it out from the side. And for the fiber optic, there's a little tab on the edge. And then gently pull it out. You don't want to damage the fiber optics. And then you connect your fiber optics to the converter box. Just pop that in. And the converter box will connect to, I have it connected to the front left out of the head unit. So front left out connects to this harness here. And then front right out, same thing. And this does mean that when you adjust the fade from front to back, you don't get any sound out when you set it to the rear, because the radio handles that with these outputs. But you will be able to adjust the balance left and right. The fiber optic conversion box connects to positive with the yellow and ground with the black. And I have that tapped into the original harness, which you don't use this connector anymore, but you do connect, you can tap into 12 volt, which is the yellow and red wire, and ground, which is the brown wire. And you can also use that to power the radio. So that covers the audio wiring and conversion from fiber optics to the radio output. For your CAN bus decoder, you probably have a connector like this, and these wires originally run to the harness adapter, and so you can either depin or cut the wires, and you're looking for the black and brown, or black and green. You're looking for the black and green wire and the green wire, and these actually are the ones that connect under the driver footwell. So your green wire is your CAN bus high, and your green and black is your CAN bus low, and you can just splice in the wires that you ran down to the footwell inside the dash. You can, from this connector, you're also going to pull the yellow and black wires, which are listed on the power supply port, so you can trace it from the pins here to here. And so it's the black and yellow wire, and these will also tap in to the original connector. So bring that back out. And tap those into your positive and ground on the original connector. So really, these are the 4 connections you need to do for power. The big one goes to the radio, the small one to the fiber optic converter box, and the black same thing. And those are these 2 wires. This last one you don't need. The other 2 connections are under the footwell to the CAN bus distribution block. And that's the 6 connections you need to make this radio work. To reinstall the radio, you've got the 4 screws. And so on my head unit, I had to file out these holes so that the mounting screw holes on the car would line up properly. I also filed these slots a bit because the HVAC tabs did not fit in properly, and once I filed it a bit, it worked much better. The same thing on the slots at the top. The car's original wood trim did fit, but it was very tight. So by filing a tiny bit, it gives it a little more room and it'll make it easier to remove later. It's really important to test the fit of the panels before you screw the radio in, because if they fit too tightly, they might get stuck, and then you'll have a really hard time getting the radio out without damaging anything. So test it with the radio out of the car and file a little at a time until it's secure but easy to remove. So to reinstall the CAN bus distribution block, just line it up in its slot. Once it's lined up, pull it forward, and it snaps in. So once your radio is back in, and you put the kick panel back in, you're done. But you've probably noticed that I didn't cover where I routed my USB cables, the backup camera, or cleaning up the wiring behind the radio, but I'll be covering that in another video, so keep an eye out for that. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I hope this video helped you out.